Hey, hello people! Another episode by Flipping Contractor. Let's talk about today about common courtesy, about contracting. First of all, when we get a phone call, an email, whatever how the customer is contacting us, we make an appointment with you. We go to your house and we spend at least an hour and a half, 2 hours to discuss what the project would be. So then we go back home, and then most of the time we try to make as soon as possible the estimate for the customers to get the renovation going, whatever the project is. So sometimes it's very hard for the contractor to meet up the customer at night. Like in a little example, you meet up a customer at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. That's for us a big deal as contractor, because technically there is no time limitation for us as being your own boss and running a company. So we put energy in to meet you as customer, to look at the project. We discuss 2 hours, we go back home, we create an estimate, we send the estimate to the customer, and then basically we wait what the result is going to be of the project. Are you going to hire us? Were we too expensive? Too cheap? You didn't feel it? What I always say to the customer, for me, my part as contractor, I always say I need to feel the love. If I don't feel the love, I'm not doing the job. And sometimes people are shocked because customers always think we are hiring you. No. I hire you because in the end of the day, I'm going to be in a month in your house. So it's for me very important that there is a connection with the customer. Because if that's not there, how are you going to do a great job, even if you try to do a good job? So that's number one. Number two, what I always notice when we go as contractors to the customer and we ask, first of all, what's your budget? What's the customer always saying? Oh, I don't know. How can you not know that you have a budget? How do you not know that you have a budget? How do you know that? That makes no sense. When you go buy a car, you know what budget you have in your head. Do you want to spend 100,000 on a car? No, I don't think so. So what do you spend? I want to be like between 40 and 50,000. So I'm going to shop for a $40,000, $50,000 car. Same thing in the contracting. When you go to a restaurant, you see the prices about the food. So I know what I'm going to spend tonight. I'm going to spend $200 on a dinner with a wife or your friend or girlfriend, whatever you're going to do. But for some reason, every time, as my own experience, it's most of the time, I wouldn't say every time, but most of the time, people are always like, oh my God, this guy is asking me a contract, the budget. What's the budget? How can I make an estimate if I don't even know whether you have a budget? So it's very important for the customer to explain to the contractor what the budget is going to be, because we're here to help you out. Well, if you're a good contractor, I like to stay in a budget as for the customer, because you trust me with your money. If it's a $50,000 contract, we'll have to figure out that we stay in that contract. But if you're saying, oh, I don't know, how we gonna go and look at prices to get the job done because you have no idea, then take your time and call us back later when you have a budget in mind. Because it's very hard to go home, go on your computer and sit there. Because you have to understand, an estimate takes almost 3 hours to figure out what we really want. We gotta get prices on it and all stuff. Third of all, we as contractor, we don't get paid by the hour. So we make a profit on the material. So for example, the drywall costs $15 for a sheet. I will charge you 35% on top of that sheet, because that's how I make my money. I have to drive to the store, pick up the material, unload it. So there you go. That's another people always think. People always want to have a contract in their house and they're saying, oh, I'll buy all the material. And that's actually the fault of the industry, because technically you should have a system that contractors get better deal than the customer. It makes no sense that a customer spent $15 as a contractor spent $15. So that's how we make our markup. That's how I make money, and most contractors we make money. That's how I pay my truck. That's how I pay my employees. So we're not sitting here and thinking about, you can never ask me what I make an hour. I have no idea what I make an hour. Am I a $70 hour guy? Am I a $100 guy? I have no idea. So basically, that's how we mark up our prices with a percentage wise. So sometimes people think, oh, I can go to the Home Depot and buy a toilet for $100. That makes no sense for me. Then you better get the handyman. Also, what I've noticed as well, to my own experience, if we do your estimate, I send you an email, blah, blah, blah. So I get that all done. Then I don't hear it for a couple of days because I'm giving you time to recover from the bill, the estimate. If we or I send you an email or I contacted you, why is it so hard for the customer to say, hey, thank you, Stefan, for your service, but I think you're a little bit high in price, or thank you, Stefan, you're a little bit too low, or any idea. Because for us, it's very hard to understand what the customer wants, because there you go again. You have no idea about your budget. So I'm putting something together, and your budget may be 10,000 and I'm coming up at 25,000. You don't let me know that I was too high or too cheap, or you didn't. How can we as contractors or as company improve for the customer, the better service? Maybe we're like, it's just little left and right. It's very annoying when a customer doesn't respond. Me personally, I think it's always nice to send an email back and say thank you for your time, because as I know, I leave at my house at night, I have a family, and I did choose that business because I love what I do. Why am I a contractor? Because there is so many yahoos out there, they think they know, they watch a TV show, and 5 minutes later they're a contractor, or go to Home Depot, follow a course for an hour and think they're a contractor. Or employees that come to work for me, they work a month for me, they think they know everything better than I do. So that's the deal, that the rough industry that we have. Also, it's very important for me as my company, we are all licensed contractors. It's very important to use a licensed contractor. Why? Because we provide liability insurance. My liability insurance is $2 million. It's for me very important that I am safe, that I can sleep at night. I don't want to do your renovation and then come conclusion I did a shitty job. I take stuff personal. I do have a little bit of OCD. It's kind of funny sometimes. It's lucky for the customer because I do a lot of stuff a little bit extra because I get in the zone. Because me, I'm a contractor, but I do buy houses and I flip them. And that's how I run my business. But in the end of the day, I always tell customers, you need to have three contractors in your house. Please, people, I'm begging you, use a licensed contractor. Do not waste your time on yahoos that you find on Kijiji and he does the job, or a fireman that does it after hour. And I'm sorry, firemen or cops, I'm sorry for that. But you know what? You guys have your full-time job. You make $80,000, $100,000 a year maybe. I don't. I do make decent money. But in the end of the day, we make money, but we have to save for a rainy day. Firemen, cops, whatever, guy from the Fasco, and I won't insult nobody, but you guys, this is play money. So what's happening that I notice a lot as well in our industry is you hire me to go look at the job. I give you an estimate. Let's say it's 30,000, 40,000, 50,000. Now you got Bob that works at the Fascos and he only works a couple hours and he's got 3 days, 4 days off. And Bob says, hey, I can do your job. And by the way, it's going to cost you 15,000. We both know you're going to probably hire Bob from the Fasco or Jim, the fireman. Doesn't matter who he is. So what's happening now, Jim, Bob, or whatever you choose for, that is not a contractor, you hire him and he shows up whenever he feels like, then he fucks up the job. And trust me, fucking about the job, there is a lot of people that I use and they don't stand behind their product. I stand behind my product. Even after a year, after 2 years, I had one guy that's warranted his job for 3 months. Makes no sense. You call yourself a contractor? I don't think so. So it's very important to do check up on the people. By the way, another thing too, it's what I experience in my own business is you go to the job, you meet up with a customer, and the customer thinks it's a freaking TV show. Like we're watching Leave It Up to Brian. You have to understand, that job doesn't get done in a half an hour, like a half an hour show. You go to the bathroom, come back, and boom, your renovation is done. That doesn't work that way. Also, Do you have designing problems and all that stuff? If you don't know what your budget is, why would I waste my energy on a design program? Because it takes a lot of money and a lot of effort. If you hire me and we're talking about a big project, then it's totally worth it, because in the end of the day, you spend a lot of money to find out where you like for your house. So that's the thing that I always experience in my business, and I don't know about other contractors. So why did I become a contractor? Why did I become a contractor? Well, I think I'm one of the luckiest people in the whole world, to be honest, that I love what I do. It's a passion. My passion is I buy a house, I have a vision, and it's a dream, and it's I get obsessed about the wow factor. My kick, the kick that I get out of it is when the customer enter the house and looks at a project that I did, and the only thing that goes out of their mouth, wow, this is amazing. That's my kick. The second of all is why I do flips. It's a good feature to sell my house to my projects to customers. For example, if you go to a builder, you buy a house, you go to their showroom, you know what you're getting yourself into. Same thing, that's what I do, but in a smaller scale. So what I do basically is I have a flip running. I go to meet up the customer like you, and I explain to the customer what I do, blah, blah, blah. So in the end of the day, what's happening is I invite you to come to look at my renovation that I have on my own house that I flip. So you know what you're getting yourself into. You could see like, wow, this guy is legit. Because pictures and referrals, I have a whole lineup of referral like this. I can give you 1,000 numbers. But let's be honest, this is all baloney stuff, because I can give you my friends' numbers. I can make fake pictures. I can go online. It's not about that. It's not about the pictures. It's not about the people. It's about the way you're presenting yourself, number one, and present your job. So for me, it's an easy sell to the customer to show him, hey, why don't you look at my properties that I'm actually doing? Actually, I have a flip on the go right now. Why don't you come by and look what I do? And then at least then you have more security. Second, ask for my license. I have a license. Third, ask for my liability insurance. Because you know what? You don't want that to blow up your house. Can you imagine you blow up your house and buy a house? But hey, you know what? If I blow up your house, you get $2 million. That's amazing. That's a good contractor. You know what I mean? And also, it's very important. What I experience in my business, and I hope other people will understand that. And hey, if you guys have advice for me, I'm always up to learning something new. You're never too old to learn. But I know there's a lot before, because I was a flooring guy. That's what I did for a living. Back home, I'm European. I'm from Belgium. I worked in construction. So I'm always like, look at those hands. Animal hands. So I'm not good for massages because it's too like sandpaper. So, but when I was doing flooring, I saw a lot of people getting upset with their contractors, and I have never understood why. So I talked to customers, and it always came to a conclusion: it's like a moving company or roofing guys. They collect a little bit money, they do a little bit of a roof, then they leave to the next house. And I'm not saying every roofing guy is. I'm not judging nobody, but it's from my own experience. I'm talking about my own experience. I'm just going what goes in my head. And what I see, what I listen to people, like I'm a talker, I talk to everybody because it's important to communication. So it's like a moving company too. What's happening with most moving company? I'm not saying everybody else moving company, but most of them. What happened? I experienced it in my own life. The guy comes to your house, gives you $1,000 estimate, and that's all done. The wife says, that's all done. Yes, ma'am, all done. So the moving day comes up, and you're giving your $1,000, and the truck is loaded up, and the guy says to you, by the way, you owe me $500 still. And you're like, yeah, but I thought it was $1,000. No, it's not $1,000. It was $1,000 to load up the truck, but we still need to have gas and drive to the job, to your other house, whatever. So basically, then you keep your hostage. I've noticed that in the same industry with the renovation as well. Same scenario. You make an estimate. Let's say the estimate is $10,000. The customer hires you. Now 5 minutes later, you're doing the demo, the renovation, whatever the heck it is. And you're like, oh, by the way, you know what? You owe me another $5,000 because, I didn't calculate the pot lights. You know what? That's not the customer's fault. That's your fault as contractor. Because That's why contractors get in trouble sometimes because of other contractors, because they don't do a good job. Me, when I go in a job and it's an estimate of 50,000 or 100,000, that's done. If I decided to put an extra spotlight or an extra switch or a cabinet, whatever, I paid it out of my own pocket, because in the end of the day, it's not the customer, because you did that before. If something is a foundation problem that we couldn't see, because sometimes you don't see nothing, behind walls. If that's something that we can control, you know what? Do something nice for the customer. Don't make any money. Make it the cost. That's what I try to do. I always try to create the cost, because in the end of the day, people are in their budget. That's why for me, as contractor at Marvel, it's very important to know the budget from the customer. So please, people, if any contractor, me or any contractor out there, you know what, give him the courtesy to send him an email back. Thank you for the estimate, but unfortunately, you're not going to get hired because we get something else, or we need more time. Don't let the contractor hang. It's a lot of work for us. It's our bread. We don't get unemployment when we have no work. I mean, we're just human beings. We suffer as well if something goes down. If we have no work, I can't pay my bills. I cannot go to the government. I don't get paid sick days. I don't get paid holidays. I create all that stuff as much as other contractors. And trust me, there is a lot of good contractors out there as well. Not only me. But in the end of the day, it's very important that the customer understands. And you know what, people? It's not always about you. Sometimes it's about us. It's all about love, because love, it's a beautiful thing, and it creates a lot of passion. That's how far I go. It's like a kick. So if we send next time an email or contact you, please give us the courtesy to let us know what we're doing, because in the end of the day, me at Marvel Contractor, we always want to improve, how to improve better, my skills, my language, my ideas. What do you have in mind? What I need to watch out? I mean, it's like you're dating, you know what I mean? It's like a married couple. Same thing when hiring employees. That's another situation. Employees, you know, that's for another episode. I just wanted to share you my thoughts, and it took me like an hour or two to figure out what I'm gonna say. And I hope this helps. So good luck. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Amen.